Network error.
Everybody. So as you can see, stuff broke. Mistakes were made. Hopefully I don't again sound like an omnipresent god, and this stream will go by cool. I guess like at this point, that is my goal. Just be cool. Just this once, OBS, please. I'll buy you chocolates. It'll be awesome.
Can I have chocolates?
Are you OBS?
I am BS.
That's true. Then you get some chocolate. But anyways, chocolates aside, let's try and reintroduce everybody after our previous cat stream, which, if anything, we'll just have like a blooper reel for session 0, and then when this goes up on YouTube, it'll look really cool, and not like I messed up horribly. Anyways,
It's fine.
so I'm the Indoor Adventurer. You can find me at Simple and Keen on YouTube. You can find me Simple and Keen on Twitter. The only places where I am not that is really just here on Twitch. But that was because I used to have an old gaming channel, and then I decided to scrap that and do Dungeons and Dragons instead because I like D&D. But that's besides the point. So we're just going to go in order, top row, then bottom row. So to my right, or I guess to my left, because I'm bad at directions, we have the wonderful Wings, who, if you follow me on Twitter, has done art for the channel through our one-shot adventure that we did not end up posting last time. But this time we're on Twitch. This time we will be on YouTube, and this time, Wings, you get to introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Wings, and I'm moving my webcam. I love D&D, and I love doing art, so if you want to see some of that, go to DanaeKeener.com. Check out my Tumblr.
All right, excellent. So next up, LB, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm LV. I have a Twitter. It's RDZIADZIO. I'm on there occasionally, and usually I'm streaming D&D with friends. So yeah.
Sounds good. All right, and directly below me, Justin, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Justin, or RJustice282 on Twitter. I'm a big pal of Indoor Adventurer. Love to play D&D, and I'm glad to be here.
Yeah! All right, and last but not least, PB, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello. Am I unmuted? I am. Good. I am PB from PBPlaysInside, which you can find me on all the social medias that existed like 2 years ago because I'm old and I don't want to keep up with the kids anymore. So you can find me there. I do just a bunch of gaming stuff and a lot of D&D stuff.
Excellent. All right. So, with our introductions, I'd say let's begin. So, the concept behind this one shot is that you all have met within the city of Shroudport, and you've been adventuring for some time now. You're all level 5. You've come to, or you're all level 4. Sorry, 4. Very different levels.
DM.
It's fine. No, yeah. So you guys are level 4. You have been adventuring for some time, and you have all come from what is more commonly known as the Warring Nations, which is a collected group of nations to the southeast of where you all met, which was in Shroudport, or at least met and formed as the group that you are today. So, with that in mind, feel free to introduce your characters as you are all just kind of hanging out in a bar, and you see that there is a drow man that is approaching you. What does he see looking at this group of four adventurers?
I will start.
Yep, go for it.
I am a human, dressed in mostly dark browns and blacks, blonde hair that kind of waves mostly, just maybe was curly but is brushed down, very meticulously looking around, keeping tabs on everything that's going on. She has a drink in front of her that's half gone, that she's kind of been nursing all night. But if anybody, it's kind of hard to notice these things. She kind of pushes off attention from herself. She's probably just leaning back in the chair, keeping an eye on things. And as the draw man approaches, she's probably, dead-eyed on him.
All right, excellent. All right, so who else would like to introduce themselves?
Ooh, so sitting across from her, yeah, kind of grinning behind like a very large pint of beer is this very youngish-looking young man, raven black hair tied into like this very tight ponytail that goes down to his back. Think of like Eastern garb, like Warring Nations China for armor, and a very large quarterstaff is resting against the wall.
All right, awesome.
I'll go. My character is wearing a full set of armor, and she's got something kind of like a scarf hood type thing going on, and full faceplate, can't see anything there, and kind of a wider top to her helmet, and she's just sitting at the table, probably like normally adventurers are like sitting in the but she's totally sitting with her back to the door, probably keeping the rest of the tavern. She's in between her party and the rest of the tavern. She's got a huge saber and a big old ornate shield. And she's just sitting there with a dragon chest set and just working through different strategies and moves there.
All right, awesome. So, in the way that we're going to kind of start things up is that this drow man approaches you all, and even though he seems a little bit apprehensive about going to this group of humans, as he kind of knows the social context between his race and your race, you do all look very, very strong, very sturdy, and very much what he's looking for. He introduces himself as Midartis Rothanel, but you are all able to just call him Milo, as he is totally okay with that, as again, he is just kind of being a little bit racist and assuming that none of you really speak Elven because you're humans, so he's just going with more of a human-y name to kind of make you all more comfortable around him. And he believes, after you spend some time getting to know this man, that he divulges that he has what he believes to be the map that will go to the Temple of the Magic Spider, which is, as he recants to you, a magical artifact that has powers beyond his imagination. He could never possibly truly understand the magic spider and what it would actually do if he were to get control of it. But he promises you that his intentions are good, that this is primarily just a cataloging mission, but that he also believes that finding the spider could possibly increase his social standing back at home in the Underdark. So he is really going out on a limb. He's been searching for over 200 years to find the location of the magic spider, and now he believes he has finally done it. So he is willing to pay you all roughly 800 gold in order to just accompany him and see this through to the end, as well as you are free to take whatever you would like from deep within the temple itself. So hopefully you all find this a good time and like something that you would want to do, as we're going to kind of transition to after you've already accepted the good quest from this drow, and are now...
Check him before we...
Yeah, you can definitely insight check this guy.
Okay.
And he's wearing just kind of like a large backpack over his back. And it seems to kind of like wriggle and move every once in a while, but he doesn't seem to really be paying too much attention to it.
Also, did PB get to introduce her character, or?
Yes.
Oh,
No.
I did not. That's a good point. Great point. We're somewhere, and you're looking at me. And so what you see is really probably stands out from the crowd, though she is human. And it's not because of all the red, dragon scales covering her body. No, that's not really it. It's how she is dressed. What she's wearing is like a very small, open, like vest on top, and it's let's say gray, and that's about it there. And then she is wearing these like probably right above her knees, floofy, large, like white shorts on, very much looking like a character, much more than like a person almost. Her hair is a dirty blonde. Is that what they call it? We're calling it that today.
Yeah.
And she is like extremely laid back, literally like leaning against the wall, the chair, always leaning on something, never seems to be standing up straight, and when she does, still somehow leaning against the wall that you didn't realize was there. Like having a laugh with everyone, always smiling, and probably making jokes with one of our friends, if not one of the townspeople, who have very bravely come up and started talking to her, and then she made them feel very comfortable.
All right.
That is who that character is.
All right, sounds good. And he, if you would like to insight check him, as he has contracted you for this mission, you guys are more than welcome to.
I got an 11.
All right. Anybody else like to roll an insight check?
No.
I will. Once I find my dice. Excuse me, I put them all away. Let's see. This dice. Ooh, a 10 plus what? What is my insight? 14?
All right. So, anybody else rolling insight, or are... Okay, sounds good. So you feel like he's not exactly being the most upfront in this situation, primarily around when he says that he doesn't know the full capabilities of the magic spider. But it still seems like the rest of what he's saying is honest, where he has spent a very long time, and you can see the time worn on his face from the previous explorations that he's had. And it just looks like he might have a screw loose, but you aren't super positive. It's just this drow that's raving about finding a magic spider in the woods, which seems pretty on par for what a drow would want. But at the same time, the money's good, and things actually haven't been on the way up for you guys in quite some time.
As he is like telling us this and being like, "Hey, be our bodyguard," whatever, I'm gonna ask him, what are his capabilities? What can he do? How much are we gonna have to protect him?
Well, I have the map, so really, if you want to go there and get paid, you kind of have to come along with me. I'm all right with a short sword. I can climb things really well. Well, not me so much, but Snicklebox will do most of the work. Snicklebox, yes. I can't really bring him out in town, as most people don't like spiders, but he's been my faithful companion for quite some time. And he pats the bag that's just sort of been, like, shifting on his back.
Is Snicklebox a larger than normal spider?
Yes. Yes, very much so. It's from pure breed of Underdark spiders.
Oh.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm surprised he has. How long have you had Snicklebox?
Well, I've had Snicklebox for the last 5 years.
Okay, I was a little bit scared you were going to say 100.
No.
Okay, then.
No. After about 25, you really just, you put them up to kind of be more, what's the word? When horses, a stud, a spidery stud. After about 25 years, you let the spider stud.
This is like the second weirdest conversation I've had since being here.
Well then, the more you know is just, we can converse about this later.
Yes, of course. Once we're outside of town, I'll gladly pull him out to show you.
I can't wait. Cannot wait.
Hmm.
Oh, God. So you are good with a short sword and any magics or just?
Well, I have the standard slew of drow magics, but most of my time has been spent more doing the an indoor kind of indoor adventure where I go to the libraries and I read more about the magic spider versus going into the temples themselves, because why would I want to spend time going through temple after temple after temple if it's just going to be full of lies? I've spent most of my time finding the best temple, the right one.
Logic.
Yep, I like it. A smart man.
Most drow are. Thank you.
Let me ask you,
Just
do
a
you,
typical scholar.
are we going to get paid as soon as we're done? Like, do you have the money on you now?
Well, yes. I mean, not all of my money on me,
Right.
but once we return and once the contract is over, I can pull out my magic wallet, find it up real quick for all of you.
Right.
Okay. Yes, this magic wallet. See, it's something we never use because we never really have that much money to carry around.
Well, if you complete this mission, you'll have more money than your hands can possibly carry.
That,
I mean, that's a lofty assumption, but yes,
I mean,
it's only 80 platinum pieces. That's not it. Anyways, yes. Well, I like the. It sounds like an easier job as I look over to my payouts.
I'm in.
why not?
Well then.
Just follow orders and you'll be fine.
exactly. I'm very good at directing.
No, you follow our orders.
More specifically, you follow her orders, and I point to Viper.
You're...
That's why you stay alive.
Then we would just, we would like to get paid at the end of this.
Right.
Well, don't worry. Even though I may have to sell off some of my stock at the Drow Jones Industrial, I'll still be able to pay all of you by the time that this is through.
Okay.
Right.
As long as you are alive.
Of course.
So,
It has to come from my name.
Right.
Yep, totally. And that was, Mediatrix. Just...
You can just call me Milo. It's fine. I know it's hard.
What time of day is it?
This was, he came about in early morning. He kind of has a hood up over his head, because he can't really stand being out in the sunlight for too long.
Are we going now, or?
Yes. It'll take the majority of the day to actually get there. But once we get to the temple, then we can rest up and set out in the morning, or if you're all feeling overzealous, then we can just go lickety-split. It really doesn't matter to me. I have never been this close in my life to the magic spider, and today and tomorrow, these are the days that we shall write about.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
well done.
All right.
If everyone else is ready, shall we?
Excellent.
Yeah, I would like to go now. I think I owe a lad over there 5 gold. So let's just go right now. Just
Yes, let's go.
don't ask questions. It's fine. Let's just.
Yes, I agree. Let us leave this god-awful place full of you and your human ilk.
I mean, you know.
He just kind of smiles cheerily.
Yeah. Viper will just stand up and scoop her chest set into her bag.
Yes. Well,
I am Tiefa, by the way.
Ah, it's good to meet you, Tiefa. And what about the rest of you? I realized that when you had been telling me your names previously, your human words kind of just droned out in my ear, so I really didn't get the best perception. I was thinking spider thoughts. You realize that happens with drow from time to time. So, again, what were all of your names? There's Tiefa. And what about you, large armored one?
You may call me Viper.
All right, so we have Tiefa and Viper. And what about you? A man with the staff.
I am Sulong of Shen. Pleasure to meet you.
All right, so we have Tiefa, Viper, Sulong. And what about you? The Ever-Leaning.
Squeak.
Ever-Leaning.
Ever-Leaning.
That's my favorite name. My name is Colin.
All right. Is that Colin?
You know, I was thinking Kalen, but at the time I couldn't figure out how I was going to pronounce it, so that just kind of came out of my mouth.
Okay.
That's what we say with
Okay.
Colin.
Colin. Yeah, we'll go with Colin. Colin. I'm sure this accent is going to be great, guys.
Oh, it'll be
We'll work it out
fantastic.
eventually. It'll work itself out.
So as we
Colin.
kind of leave the tavern, I'm going to ask our gentleman friend, Marty, tell me, if this place is so close, why has no one found it before?
Well, it's not that it isn't necessarily ever been found. It's probably just incredibly dangerous.
Right.
It was built by the wonderful drow minds that inhabit my city.
Like mines like underground, or like mines like in your head?
In your thought place. Your mind.
Right.
I don't think this guy has most of his.
Mind
I'll
place.
whisper.
His spiders in place, I know.
I'm gonna lean over to Viper. Are we going to kill him once we leave town? Is that cool?
We will see.
Right.
Okay. I respect that. Okay, well then.
All right. Well, if there's no more lollygagging, let's be off.
Okay, well
Lead the
then.
way, sir.
Let's
Thank
get
you.
rolling.
And so he, after you guys have accepted and he's learned all of your names and you have learned his, you all start heading out of the Shroud Port, going towards the Gilskari Woods, which is to the east of where you guys are. It's a very thick wood. You can see just from the outside going into this woods that there is a lot of newer growth, probably from the last about 80 to 150 years in terms of tree age that seems to be growing. But then deep in the center, just towering above all of these other trees are just a very thick, dark wood. And he points to it and says, "That's exactly where we're headed, to the dead center of it."
Oh, we were coming through here. I was thinking, man, we should really go through there. I'm glad we got an opportunity.
The darker and spookier it is, the better treasure. And he sets his bag on the he sets his bag on the ground, and this large spider just kind of like crawls out of it once you guys are outside of town. And you can see its legs are very long. This thing has a wingspan. Like normally it's like, oh, plate spider. This is like, this guy sets his arms out and the spider puts its arms out and they're longer than his. Like, this is a fat spider.
I brandish my quarterstaff like,
Don't worry, he's completely harmless. And he kind of like hunches down a little bit and the spider crawls onto his back and wraps its legs around his front and his lower section, and it's kind of just like on his back like a backpack at this point.
Are all drow like this?
It's been a couple years since I've been down there. I hope they're all like this. They should really treat their spiders with much more, what's the word? Honorifics? No.
Love?
That one. That thing when you feel for something. It's like how I want to feel about the magic spider, but I don't know them yet.
This
Does
is
anyone else
foreign
in the
to-
group speak Elvish? Because I do.
I don't. I speak Orcish.
I do.
Common.
So we go into the center of the woods, and then what? We find a cavern,
Well,
a mountain.
it's a small temple, at least on the top layer. From what the maps have been able to tell, and from what my research has done, it's actually a multi-leveled chamber that just keeps going down and down. Now, the maps only show the first 3 levels, but I assume that there's more, as it shows a door and nothing else after that.
Okay. What things can we expect from this temple?
I assume lots of spiders.
You're okay with killing spiders?
I mean, I'd rather them not die. I love spiders, but at the same time, we're very close to my goal, and I don't really care about these spiders so much as I do Snicklebox.
Will Snicklebox be okay with us killing his spider?
Totally fine.
Great. Okay, all right. Well then, anything else we can expect? Any other fun surprises?
Well, it did used to be a drow holy site of the highest order, so you can probably expect, lots of religious things. I mean, there's probably books, but
Okay.
for the most part, there's not really much in terms of what to expect, other than a room of webs and a very long climb down. So, knowing that there was a long climb, I have brought this 150-foot rope that should be able to get us to the very bottom of the chasm. Or, not chasm, it's a long tunnel that goes straight down. You could call it a shaft, but I don't want to seem immature, so I've been trying to think of a better word for it.
So we will slide down this long shaft, and then what?
And then we go into the room of webs. And then from the room of webs, then I was always told about it, but we could see a picture of the world spider cosmology just on a wall. It would be great.
Is it the painting?
I believe it's a mosaic set in the wall.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yes, and to those in my party who don't know what the world spider mosaic would be,
It's
explain it to them.
Well, most cultures believe that our center of origin starts in either the material plane or somewhere similar, and there are some cultures that believe this to be represented by a giant tree. Others believe that these planes rest on the back of a giant turtle that just sort of meanders through all of space and time. Now, I know that you humans aren't necessarily on the down low with the drow, but one of the things that we believe, or at least I believe, is that there is a giant spider that on its back rests all of time and fate. And that each of its legs represent a different plane that you can go to, and as much as I've longed to believe it, I've never seen a picture that would represent what that actually looks like. So I'm very excited to see the World Spider Cosmology Mosaic.
Okay, so we will try to swing by there, and hope that it's still there.
And then,
I like that he's kind of like a guy trying to talk hip with kids. Speaking in human common.
it's not my first language.
Fine.
Okay, well then.
So we're gonna try and make our way through the woods.
Yes. Now, luckily, the map that I have will allow us to get through the woods lickety-split. No problem. But
Wonderful.
it's at the tunnel and the temple. That's where things get difficult. Because like I said, I only have the first 3 rooms mapped out, because the 3rd room, well, that's when it's the trial of threads.
Oh.
And
Sounds fun.
that's the last that was actually written inside of the journal that I found.
Who wrote the journal?
Some old drow, 100, 200 years ago?
But he made it out.
I would like to hope so. He mentions that a lot of his party members ended up dying.
Oh, good.
At least the journal made it out.
Because
Yes.
Yeah, but yes, you're
'Cause-
correct.
if it was his journal and he got out, I don't see why he would go back, or I don't see why he wouldn't go back and try and get the magic spider again. But he might have died, and adventurers such as yourselves might have found his journal, and then that made its way back to me.
Okay.
I don't ask a whole lot of questions whenever I get my information from, but I do make sure that it's from credible sources, like other drow.
Yep. Yep.
Mm.
Extremely trustworthy. Never met a drow I couldn't trust.
Exactly.
Well,
Got this,
then.
Colin.
Right.
Okay. Well then, Viper, what say you? How shall we approach this?
Cautiously.
Wise words as always, Viper.
You mean word. Never.
Wise word.
Wise word.
Wise word as always.
Well then,
And you guys...
Tell me about- Go ahead. As we were walking.
Yeah. This is happening as you guys are walking deeper and deeper into the woods. And as you progress on, the sun starts getting kind of blotted out by the trees to the point where Milo actually unveils his hood, and you can see just very thick white hair. I want to say slightly aged skin, not to the point where it's like very leathered and chapped, like he's worked on a ship for the last 100 years. But you can still see some signs of wear and tear. Like, he has a few scars on his face, none of the ones that look fashionable either. There's one, like, on the under part of his chin, where he explains that he got from trying to run to the next part of his adventure, and he tripped and fell and busted his chin open. He makes it sound a lot more grandiose than it actually is, but you guys are starting to get the idea that this adventurer is a little bit clumsy and probably not the most well-equipped to handle a situation like this, although he likes to believe that he is.
Okay. I'm gonna start telling him stories of not detailed, but kind of like grandiose stories of me getting information out of people, and then once I cut into his femoral artery, he was very cooperative with me. So,
Well, that's the place to do it. A lot of the Drow Inquisitors use those methods as well.
right. See, this guy gets it.
I mean, you've never heard any complaints from me. We always get our information.
That's right.
And information is very important to have.
Yes, that's why we ask a lot of questions, especially Viper. Viper asks a lot of questions.
Just chappy.
Yes.
All right. And you guys have been walking to the point where it's starting to get dark out, and you're having a little bit of problems actually being able to see through the dark, as none of you have dark vision, as you're all 4 humans.
I
Yep.
cast light.
I
cast
have dancing lights also.
All right. And at that, Milo turns around and says, "Well, I mean, that your dancing lights are fine for you, and your light cantrip's fine for you, but, well, I actually got something before we all headed out. I was hoping that you guys would take it, because I thought that it would be a little bit more handy." And he hands you a like a pearlescent opaque orb, and he says, "This is a drift globe. Once per day you can cast the daylight spell from it, and other than that you can just continuously cast light out of it. It'll follow behind you upwards of 30 feet as long as you're the one who casts light."
All
That is
right. too long. Go do your thing. Magic.
Yeah. He like walks over, spinning his staff, and flicks the orb out of Milo's hand and catches it.
Oh,
Yeah. Thanks.
it's no problem. I figured that, I mean, if we're going to be going deep down under the Earth's surface, it'd probably be difficult for the lot of you to actually see anything.
I'm gonna take a step back before he casts light on it.
Just in case. Great.
Yep.
Maybe slightly behind a tree.
Yeah. So you just see the area light up coming through the tree.
And you said this can cast daylight, huh?
Once per day, yes.
Oh, it's
Viper
good.
watches this with much interest.
Personally, I would prefer it if you didn't cast daylight, as you know, the sun and I don't see eye to eye, and you should never look at the sun, or have the sun look at you, as most drow believe. So if you could not do that, that would be great, as I am kind of sensitive to sunlight.
What I got out of this is that drow can't have staring contests with the sun. Got it.
Yes, we always lose.
Neither should you.
The sun bounces off the moon, and that's why it is light at night.
I mean, I suppose if you're on the surface, that's true. Underground, we just had a lot of bioluminescent spiders that would crawl along the ceiling, and then form several clusters.
I don't like that.
Everything is spiders.
Everything is spiders, all the time. It's
The
great.
floor is spiders.
Sometimes.
What?
I'm glad none of
Forms
us
a
are
brimming cup of spiders.
Although this big ass spider on his back is making me a little uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie.
Really, I'm starting to get more comfortable as time goes on.
And you see a little head, like, poke out from the corner, just... Like, it's not like it is not a cutie by any means. This is a horrific looking creature. And like you see its like little mandibles just kind of like massage his artery.
God. No.
Just, that's right, buddy. It'll be okay.
LB very much hates spiders, so this is a challenge.
I know it is wigging me out, especially knowing there's a small spider here. I'm just like, I keep feeling it, and I'm just like,
Crawling on you.
yeah. All right. Well then, I will. Somewhere along the way, before we get to the temple, I will ask Medartis if I could pet his spider.
Yes, of course. Snicklebox
Very
loves pets.
I will very cautiously go towards Snicklebox.
All right.
Just do like the classic. I'll start off slow. You know, you have to get comfortable with the animal.
Mm-hmm.
It's arachnid, so I just like,
Where are you petting it?
and it's like the first, not the thorax part, but the first part of
The
him.
head?
Like where the head is.
Well, like not like behind.
They've got
his-
two parts. They've got
Yeah,
a head
like-
and they've got a butt.
So like,
Those are technical terms.
It's just science.
so, like right between the
Like
thorax and
behind
the
the
Mhm.
yeah, like right there. I'm
Okay.
gonna go like
So, as you're
start off with.
like the first touch that you do, you see the arms actually like constrict around Milo, and he's just ha, okay, buddy, that's good. We're fine. And then like you continue just like touching this guy again. Make an animal handling check.
Oh god.
Oh god.
Oh, good.
Kill
Oh,
him.
I'm sure I'm great
Going
at
to
this.
die now.
Well, I mean, at least we could take on a spider.
Mm,
Let's see. Ooh, that's a good number. That's actually a really good number.
Yeah?
Please don't be in the negative, this number. Ooh, it's a 21. I got a 21.
All right. So as you go to more gently pet Snicklebox this time, the arms again just sort of lessen. And the two of the like biters that were right here just sort of ease up. Just that's it. That's right. We can make new friends. We can always make friends. And Snicklebox is just sort of like you just see its large arms just sort of moving, just kind of enjoying the pets that it's getting.
I will take an adventurous scritch.
You see its butt just kind of wiggle a little bit.
I don't know whether this is supposed to be endearing or terrifying.
Yeah, that's the best part.
It's got that creepy, cute look going on.
Yeah, I mean,
a
I
little
look like
bit, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
yeah, a little bit of everything. It's a great picture. Just me, just scratching behind this large, horrific-looking spider's head.
Yeah. All right. So you guys have been adventuring now, or at least setting out from town, and it's getting closer to nightfall. So the amount of light that you're getting from your drift globe is, again, just sort of in the 60-foot area around you guys. But other than that, you're not really able to see much past that point. And so Milo looks at the four of you. So would you like to rest up for the evening and set out first thing in the morning, or would you all like to go now? We're deep enough in the woods that I'm totally fine in the middle of the day, as long as there's no direct sunlight on me. Well, that shit hurts.
Is it like deep night at the moment, or like?
It's probably like 8 or 9. Like the sun is below the horizon at this point. But there still would be light out if you guys weren't so deep in the woods.
Mechanically, if we continued onward, would be any drawback to that? Like any? Nope.
This is more of a just like, hey, we've been traveling for a while. Do you guys want to stop? Bathroom break. Bathroom break. Bathroom break. Like when you see the exit for the rest area, and you're like,
gotta go now.
All right, so it's an hour 20 miles. Like,
Yeah. I'm good. I'd rather keep going than stop in a place I don't know.
well, I'm sure you all want your money, so that's as good a reason as any. And you guys
I
go.
want you to kill us in the night. That's all.
I mean, I still need to sleep sometimes. Well, no, I don't. I meditate. I don't really sleep.
Right.
I just kind of like zone out looking usually at Snickelbox for about 4 hours, and then I kind of just come back to it.
Disturbing.
Okay, well then.
I have the horrifying image of like Snickelbox doing the Hypnotoad.
With 8 eyes, just.
I know Snickelbox.
Okay, well then, Medartha, so let's keep on keeping on.
Yes, of course. All right, and it's probably about another 2 hours of you guys going through the woods. It's pretty late at night now. But as you progress forward through the woods, you start seeing a clearing ahead of you that just sort of opens up because you can't see that far forward. But with your drift globe, the scene just sort of opens up to what looks like an octagonal building, just in a small clearing that has these deep gnarled trees just kind of growing over it. And you can see that etched into the stone itself, there's a lot of spider motifs. You can just see that there are web designs kind of crawling down columns that lead, that are on these 8 points around the building. And you can see that there is a large opening inside of this or that leads to the inside of this opening. And Medarthus looks at that and says, "That's it. That's the one right there. Just like the map said that we would get to."
It looks like this domain has been taken.
Well, I mean, we're not looking to reclaim the domain. We're looking to get the powers of the magic spider.
I'm just gonna lean over to Viper and say, "Do you mind if I do a quick perimeter check?" Viper. Focus.
What was that?
Do you mind if
Sorry, I
do a
didn't
quick-
realize you were talking to me.
Do you mind if I do a quick perimeter check just to make sure?
Does it?
Okay. I would like to stealth around so that I can see what's on the up and up.
Yep. So make a so are you like looking to like so you're looking to just like be stealthy looking around? Oh, so make a stealth check and then an investigation check because you're also looking around the building seeing if you can find anything. Unless you're trying to like look out towards the forest, in which case that would be a perception check.
I'm trying to case the area.
Okay, so that's an investigation.
All right. Ooh, my stealth is at 23.
All right.
Nice.
Yes.
Blonde one is just gone. And my investigation.
shoot.
Oh,
Okay,
still
never
good. Aha. That would be a intelligence, so plus 18.
Ah.
Nice.
So, with the 18, so with your stealth, the rest of you just watch as Tiefa just disappears. Like you've seen her do plenty of times, but it's still weird where it's just like, so Tiefa, what do you? It's like Batman and Commissioner Gordon, where you just look back and they're gone. And so, Tiefa, while you are scoping out the general area, you can see that a lot of the trees have kind of grown up against this building, and inside a lot of these trees, like with the kind of holes and hollows that are naturally forming, you can just see unmoving nests of spiders. Like, normally they'd just be crawling all around doing whatever, but these all just seem to be sitting in one place, not really moving a whole lot. You'll see one of them occasionally, like, move off towards another side, but most of them just sort of seem to be just sitting there, not necessarily doing anything that would constitute as aggressive, but at the same time, they're not really doing anything, which is very strange for something that you always kind of assumed had the insect brain.
Right.
And then with that investigation as well, you continue looking around, and on the side to the right of where the entrance to this building is, you see there are, again, lots of spiders just sort of etched into the side of this stone structure. But you see one that looks visually different than the others for one reason, and that this spider has a very tiny crown on its head. Like, on its small spidery form, there is a tiny crown that this spider wears.
Okay. I'm just gonna come back and I'm just gonna appear behind Colin, and I'm not gonna say anything for a second, and then I'm gonna say, "There's lots of spiders here." And then I mean, they're like not doing anything. Is that weird?
Well, that's kind of how you know that you've hit the right place. It's that all of these spiders have reference. They're waiting for the magic spider to tell them what to do.
Oh, they're not waiting to attack anyone who comes into this place?
No.
Are we sure?
Yes.
Should we set fire to it?
I am going to say no about setting the forest on fire.
Well, not the forest, just the spiders.
Also going to say no
It's fine, just put
on
it
that
there.
one.
That's,
Look, we talked about it. The really big ones that are trying to eat me. Yes, please, for the love of Lolth, kill those ones. Please. But if they're like little guys and they're not really doing much, I really don't see what the problem is.
they're scary.
No. They're fine.
A little bit.
You know, let's grab some dinner first and kind of weigh out our options.
Right, okay.
Okay, alright.
I'm gonna sit at the edge and keep watch on the perimeter while I assume we're gonna start a fire.
Yep. Not a forest fire, mind you, but just like a generally kept fire.
Just gonna grab
Like a small scale forest fire.
It'll just be really small, I swear.
It's just like you know how sometimes you just have an unchecked forest fire?
You know,
It'll be fine.
blame it on those kids we passed on the way in, it'll be fine.
Yeah, damn teenagers.
Yeah,
I'd
no
blame
one's
them in a heartbeat.
We have a witness. Nice. Never let me have any fun.
All right, and with that, we will take our first break. So we'll try and be back in 5 minutes if we end up going a little bit longer than that because of bathroom breaks or anything like that. Just bear with us. But until then, we will see you guys.
Where?
And that's how I killed that red dragon all by myself. You know, RIP the party, but you know.
That's amazing that you escaped. So, as you guys are taking your short watch, I realized before we started this, I was going to hand out some items, but because we were having such technical issues at the beginning, I very much spaced on that. But luckily, it shouldn't affect things too much. So, with Tiefa, the dagger that you have is a flame tongue dagger. So, as your command word, you can add, you can ignite the dagger to deal an additional 2d6 damage on a stab.
Rad.
Yay.
For PB, your character got the Bracers of Defense. So, as long as you are not carrying a shield or wearing armor, you gain an additional 2 AC.
Guys, I'm a tank.
For the wonderful Su Long, you gain the Headband of Intellect, which puts your intelligence score at 19 rather than its current score, as long as you maintain attunement on that item.
Sick.
You're smart.
Inch me.
And Wings, also known as Viper. You are going to be getting 2 items, mostly because one of the items that I wanted to give you was, like, legitimately just part of your backstory. I thought it fit too perfectly, but then it had absolutely no bearing on any kind of roleplay or dungeon delving scenario, so I was like, okay, well, so you get 2. The first one is the Ring of Mind Shielding, which prevents scrying effects from being able to target you. If somebody wants to communicate with you telepathically, you have to allow them to communicate, as that kind of went more with your backstory about coming from the Warring Nations and not wanting people to find you. But the actual item that you will get that will be useful is a Cloak of Protection, which gives you +1 AC and an additional 1 on all saving throws.
Nice.
And so that's where your magic items, everybody.
Yes, mate.
Because I remember these things.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys had just finished a short rest while just kind of gearing up, having some food before you set out down the spider's hole. Which is
I don't like how you phrase that.
the spider hole.
The spider's there.
So yeah, going into the temple, Milo will lead you all, and you can see that there are 2 large stone statues of warriors wearing like very spider motifed gear, where their shoulder pads look like they're just kind of like large stone webs that have formed into pauldrons. Their face plates have 8 eye holes on them, going down the front, and you can see that they kind of have little pincers. And they in all instances of the word, they are just decked out with these with this very drow warrior style, even though this seems more like a Power Ranger style warrior than an actual battle ready warrior. But Milo, his eyes just go wide when he sees this. This is the place. This is where we've needed to go. So down there, and he points, and there's just a giant pit in the middle of the floor that doesn't look like it has any real way of like climbing down it easily. We have to go down there. And please do be careful. It's about 80 feet all the way to the bottom, or at least that's what the journal says. So if you slip, there's not really much that I can do to kind of soften that fall. So hopefully you're hardy individuals are really good at climbing. Well, if we're all ready, and he goes over to the 2 statues and he ties a rope around them to act as an anchor point. And then after he checks the rope a couple more times to make sure that it's very sturdy, as he doesn't want his new adventuring party to get hurt when he's so close to what he has desired. He tosses one end of the rope down. Would any of you like to lead down?
No.
No?
Especially as I just realized I didn't roll my health. So
I feel like
Oh.
You should figure that out before you come down the hole.
Oh, and PB's gone.
Out
So-
of character.
Welcome back.
Does anybody have
Have what?
how about?
Featherfall?
No. Hey, DM.
Yes.
During the break where we took a short rest, could I have casted Find Familiar to summon up a tiny little weasel?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, you definitely have your weasel familiar.
Yeah.
Does it have a name?
Bolt.
no. Oh.
Bolt the weasel.
Wearing him like a little scarf.
Of course.
See? It's not weird to wear your friends sometimes.
I go down first.
I start to climb on Viper's shoulders.
Just... No.
She would let you.
And I just like lay there.
All right,
Getting
so...
me down.
Su Long, I would like for
I'm
you...
Actually, I have a strength of 8, so maybe.
Maybe not.
I would like for you to make an athletics check as you attempt
Oh,
to scale
boy.
down this rope.
14.
Okay. Yeah. No, you actually start scaling down, and you're about 20 feet in this hole now.
Could we just have like preemptively bought climbing kits before this?
I have a grappling hook.
Grappling hook!
How much is
I've got rope.
climbing kit?
That's about it.
25 gold.
Yeah, you would have enough from your starting gold. Like any of the classes would have enough from starting gold to purchase climbing
Yeah.
kits.
Is anybody here, like, particularly bad at climbing that we should be worried about?
I have a strength of 0. Or no,
you're fine.
Mod, strength mod.
I have a string mod of
Oh,
0.
Acrobatics?
I have amazing acrobatics. If
As you,
that.
like,
Sure.
tumble flip your
I'm
way
sure
down.
we all do. Well, shoot. It doesn't help being an uber buffing healing person if you're just gonna fall and die.
You could buff and heal yourself.
Do the
Can I?
silk rope thing where you like wrap it around yourself and like roll down.
All right, Su Long, would you like to continue your descent deeper into the cave or into the temple?
Yeah, sure. I had tapped the glow orb to follow me.
Mm-hmm. It's just steadily like it hits a certain point, and just kind of like it's hovering above you as you go down, just sort of in the middle of the temple. Or in the middle of the shaft as you go down.
I'm going to go last.
Oh, no, I'll go last. I'm gonna guidance everybody.
All right.
All right. Well then.
Colin?
I was going to wait for Su Long to go down because, well, it's going to be a little bit, the tunnel will be full while I'm going down. Let's put it that way.
It makes me uncomfortable that you say that. Why do you say that?
Well, Snicklebox is a much better climber than I am.
Right.
So, and he looks down and he sees that Su Long has gone past the threshold from where it stops being shaft and goes into a more open chamber.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess it's as good a time as any. And he nears himself towards the ledge, and you see Snicklebox's arms extend out and press up against the sides of the walls as he just sort of like goes down the very middle of the tunnel while being held onto the spider, and his legs are just sort of like very loosely just sort of floating around. He looks like he doesn't have much control over his body right now.
Oh.
All right, down we go. And you just see the spider just start going down this tunnel, but it's like very carefully maneuvering down. And then you just see it wrap underneath this, underneath the bottom of the tunnel.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm gonna go right after him so that if I fall, I'm gonna.
If you fall, you'll fall on.
You'll fall on him.
spider.
Okay.
It'll be okay.
All right,
That'll be
make
good.
an athletics check.
I guidance you.
Aw, thanks, buddy.
Viper grips you by the
17.
shoulder and says, "Do not fall."
Thanks. I won't.
Professional guidance.
But I. Is that what does that give me?
It gives you a D4
Oh,
to
all
add
right.
to
I rolled
it.
this. I got a 16, so 17. Total.
Yeah.
Helping.
Yeah, so this rope is set very well, and because you all purchased climbers kits, this was very much an easy thing for you to do. As this is not the first temple that you've raided or the first kind of stealth mission drop down that you've encountered. So yeah, you and Su Long are descending into the chamber while Milo and Snicklebox are. Once you get down into the chamber, you look up and you just see again his legs just sort of hanging there, and the spider is holding onto the ceiling upside down.
Disturbing.
It's gonna be fine.
Clearly.
All right, so who would like to go down next?
I'll go down next.
I'll guidance Colin as well.
All right. Athletics check?
Yes.
Ooh. Oh, well, I don't have anything in athletics. 14.
All right. Yep.
Do not
14. Yeah, you start
Do not-
descending down, and it's no problem. You've seen the others do it, so you know that it is a generally safe rope. So you have more confidence going into this than you normally would have under any other circumstance, especially with the kind words of Viper still ringing in your ears of "Don't fall." So you. Yeah, you descend into the cavern as well. And Su Long, as the drift globe follows you as you descend further and further down this rope, this cavern, this room that you descend into looks very large. It looks elongated upwards. And you can see beneath you that there is just weaving back and forth, almost in several slopes, just webs. Just a lot of webbing that seems to have overtaken this room. And you can make a perception check if you'd like. Handouts. I have posted in the Discord chat what the room looks like.
Ooh.
And for all of you who can't see, I'll figure it out.
I got it. I'll doodle it. Doodle it.
Oh, question. What does a climber's kit give you in terms of climbing?
A climber's kit would give you,
Climber's kit.
I believe, 50 foot of rope.
Oh, I mean mechanically.
Oh, mechanically, it would lower the difficulty check on any kind of skill that would involve climbing.
All right.
And you can't.
Should I climb
fall-
down now?
Yeah, and you can't fall more than 25 feet from the point you anchored yourself to.
Oh, well, good. You can't
Yes, like what
you
LB
can't
does.
guidance yourself, can you?
I don't think so.
Yeah. I mean, like, the wording is weird, but I'm pretty sure you can't. I'm gonna climb down as best I can. Catch me. That is 13 minus 1. 12.
Yeah, so your 12 actually allows you, like, you're wearing a lot of armor right now, and it's one of those things where you're like, please, stone statues, hold. And as you go down, you hear them kind of creak a little bit, but it holds, and you continue your way down, and you all are actually making relatively good time getting down. And you see Milo kind of skitter across the top of the ceiling and then go down a wall rather than climbing directly down on a rope. And he he just sort of meets you guys at the bottom. As you all climb down, you can make perception checks if you'd like.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I do that.
I cannot hear you. I can't hear you.
Perception.
That's a 12.
Okay, so 12,
21.
21,
Ooh. 13.
13, and Sulong? Still
You're
can't hear you.
muted, bud.
Sound is off.
Ah.
Yes.
So question 1 was, are there any sconces in the room? And 2, I have a 16 on perception.
All right, so what was the lowest? 13?
12.
12.
12.
All right, so yeah, you all actually see the silhouettes of what look like humanoid shapes just completely wrapped up in spider webs that are just sort of like spaced throughout this room.
Oh, that's what those are.
Yep. And it looks like some of them may have fallen into the webs and gotten stuck. Others might have just been put there by some unknown spider, probably spidery source.
Are there webs on the floor?
The floor does have webs, so it's a little difficult to try and move, but there doesn't seem to be anything necessarily halting your guys' progress at this point.
Okay. Well, I would think before. Well, spiders, they catch prey by feeling them in their webs, yes?
Well, it depends on the type of spider we're talking about. There are like huntsman spiders that kind of just go at you, and there's like the orb weaver spiders who kind of trap you in the webs.
There's some that like dig a hole in the ground that you fall into. Well, it's the whole thing.
Great.
There was this one show with a spider who was like, "Oh, you cannot see me," and as he was burying his head in the sand, it was
It's really
an interesting
so
play.
The real question is, what kind of spiders are around? And
Martin, what kind of spiders are these?
Martin?
Has it changed?
Nope.
I could have sworn the
Don't
first time you
scare
called him
them.
like Marcus, and then now you're calling him Marty.
Marty, it was Marty the first time.
Marty.
Well, there doesn't seem to be anything too out of the ordinary about these webs other than the fact that they're very large. I would guess that there might be a giant spider lurking around here somewhere. But we should be fine.
Can Snicklebox become friends with this spider and tell him not to attack us?
Well, that's the thing. Snicklebox is more of those kinds of spiders that eat other spiders. You know, you gotta make him really big and strong, and what is more big and strong than another spider, right?
Yeah, but especially if he's gonna become a stud in the future. Has to,
Carry on
look
all
good
of those
for the
genes,
latest.
because that's how that works.
Yeah.
Viper will walk up behind Milo and put a hand on his shoulder. Medarthus, what is the best way to prevent our feet from sticking to webs?
That is the most words I've ever heard her say at once, guys.
I know.
I feel like this is a big deal, but I don't know you very well in order to consider it as such. But don't worry. The easiest way that you can avoid spider webs is by either burning the spider webs away, but you need to be very careful because they're highly flammable and very dangerous. So if you lit the spider webs beneath us on fire, this entire chamber might just light up in flames. Other than that, you can try and get a broom and sweep them out of the way.
Oh yes, I have room right here.
I cast Greed.
Other than that, you kind of just gotta deal with it.
Would acid deal with it?
Acid probably would work.
I'd rather not be stepping on acid in, sandals.
Will a
That
sword
sounds like
work?
a personal problem. That sounds like a personal problem.
This is why most drow temples have a closed-toed shoe rule.
Yeah, you should have. There was a sign when we first walked in. I thought you saw it. I would have pointed it out earlier.
It was written
I can't
in
read
Undercommon,
Elvish.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm gonna take out my unlit torch and I'm gonna start twisting it like
candy.
a
Like
Cotton
spaghetti.
candy.
Yeah, twirl it up.
All
until
right.
it gets
Spaghetti.
full, and then I go.
Well,
That
one
might
way
take
of
a
doing it.
while.
There's my path.
Yeah. No, it takes you about 10 minutes of just like wrapping it up with your torch. Okay, off. Doing this again. Off. Doing this again.
Can I try just like cutting through it with
yeah.
my saber?
Yep. That will actually just like, it would take you maybe 2 minutes. Like rather than
I
like.
follow behind Viper.
Yeah.
I do that.
All right. Yeah.
I'll just stand back and I'll watch.
This is like Deep Jungle Explorer Machete, just like walking
Yeah, like
through.
swing,
No
swing,
care.
swing.
Are these spiders attracted to the movement in their webs?
Well,
Oh, we're about to find out.
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like there's any potential threat here. And you see Snicklebox like put his spider arm onto the web, and then it just shakes its head back and forth. No, he just.
Sweet.
Snicklebox says that he doesn't feel any other spiders on here, so we should be fine.
I'm
Can
still
you
leaning
keep
more towards
going?
terrified in this situation.
Can your spider bring me one of those people that is cocooned?
No, probably.
Thank you very much, Mario.
Thank you, Snicklebox.
That's no problem.
I really appreciate it, Snicklebox.
So yeah, you see Snicklebox like lower himself off of Milo's back, and you see him just kind of like stretching his arms while the spider goes up the side of the wall that's covered in webs, and he leaves your guys' dark vision for a little bit, and then you just hear kind of a snapping sound. Tiefa, I would like for you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. We'll see. I'm the rogue. Oh, that's great. That's a 6.
All right, so you take 6 points of bludgeoning damage as a web-covered body falls from the ceiling directly on top of you.
Son of a bitch!
Looks like he brought it right to you.
Good job, Snicklebox.
And then
Great
you
job,
see
buddy.
Snicklebox crawled back down the side of the wall and then back onto Milo's back.
Can't be mad because you did what I asked. I just...
He's very loyal and good at listening.
I'll just roll the body off of her and pick her up.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to search the body
All right,
for clues.
make an investigation check.
Clues?
Yeah.
Tifa's clues.
I can, just as a... It doesn't matter because we're not in combat, but I can do it as a bonus action for clues.
Okay.
Okay. Investigation isn't... That's a 9.
All right. So you're kind of looking around this guy, and it takes you a while to peel the webs back from the body itself, and it's just this very emaciated face that looks like it was locked in perpetual horror. And you can see that there is a bone fragment kind of jutting out of the side of its neck, as its head is just sort of tilted off towards the side, but the rest of his body is still covered in webs.
Does he have anything on him?
You would have to spend more time cutting open the webs and getting them away from his body, because right now, with your 9, you were really only... Like, you
Right.
cleared away his face, saw a horrific face, and was like... Yeah.
We'll come back to this. We'll come back.
Very Indiana Jones.
Yes. Who is leading the way? Probably the spider guy, yes?
I can lead the way. It should be fine. All right. Well,
Wait. And I lean over to the front, my friends. Do we want him in front so if something happens, he gets killed first? But also, do we not want him in front so that if something happens, he gets killed first and we can't find our way out?
He can see better than us.
That's true.
He stays in front.
Got it. Okay, that's fine. Just so you know, if you do anything, I kind of like you now, so if you do anything that I don't like, I don't want to kill you, but I will.
I'm glad I've
I'm
earned your
just like
human
that.
companionship.
Yes.
Pat.
Well, if you guys don't have anything else that's holding you up in this room full of spiders, There were a few more bodies that you could possibly cut down, or have Snicklebox get to if you wished.
What spiders? You said there were no spiders.
My spider. Or are you meaning the ones that were wrapped up in webs?
What? There are spiders
No.
wrapped up in the web?
No.
What?
Snicklebox was able to feel out. No
Right,
spiders
no
here.
spiders.
Not here.
Okay.
But there are
Okay.
still 2 corpses, or at least food for laters, that have been tied up in the webs up there. You have one down here.
I mean, I'm okay with looting. How do you guys feel?
I have
Yeah,
no
sure.
qualms about these dead people.
I was not asking you, but thank you for your input, sir.
Like
I
I said,
am,
you guys can have whatever we find in here. I'm just looking for the spider.
Well, I could get up on Viper's shoulders, and I could like jump and latch onto it, and bring it down.
You do that. I'm going to cut open the one on the ground.
Okay.
I will do that.
All right, so Viper, make a... We're going to say just a straight strength check to maintain your footing, to hold onto somebody who's going to be jumping off of your shoulders. And then...
A strength check?
Yes, just straight strength. And then,
Guys.
Colin, I would like for you to make a acrobatics check to try and leap up to one of the hanging bodies.
Ooh,
What did I say? 16. 16. All right, plus acrobatic.
Can I
That's a 7.
can I, is Viper doing this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Quickly give him a pat on the back with the butt of my staff and cast guidance.
Yeah, so Viper is...
Not gonna
So
help.
the scene that you have come back to, after kind of like zoning out, looking at spider stuff for a little bit, kind of shake your head and look over, and you see that Colin is standing on top of Viper's shoulders, getting poised and ready to jump off of shoulders to grab one of the bodies that is currently trapped in the webs.
What are you guys doing?
I'm getting the body down. It's just just hold on to Viper. Make sure she stays steady. I'm feeling good about this. I have a good footing. I got a 21.
Yeah. So yeah, you just leap up. Viper, what did you get for strength?
7.
All right, so as you leap up, Viper just
I
gets...
mean, I got guidance, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna help.
roll for guidance.
9.
Yeah, so, Colin, as you jump off, you just send Viper kind of careening back, like you have to catch your footing a little bit.
Conk.
But you manage to just jump up and you koala bear on to this hanging corpse. And you just kind of pull a little bit and it snaps off and falls down. Make a dexterity saving throw.
Gross.
Ooh. 17.
All right, yeah. So right as
Great
you
dex,
right as you pull it down and you feel the tension give as it starts to fall, you just kind of jump off of it and then land on your feet as this body just and falls next to you. It doesn't bounce or anything like that. It just sort of gets caught in the web lying down. And then Tiefa, you were making an investigation check on the body that you were currently
Yes.
looking at before. You will have
What
advantage.
did the...
Oh, cool. I'm going to turn my back to everyone while they're doing all this shenanigans, and the focus is over there. And I'm going to pull out my blade,
Okay.
the Crimson Hand, and
Yes.
I'm going to use that to slice it open.
All right, sounds good.
How does it translate up here in common? Let sleeping horses stand?
Yes.
Let giant spiders sleep. That's the one.
17.
17? Yeah, so on this guy, you end up finding 8 gold pieces, as well as it is a long, it's about 2 feet long, and it looks like it has an iron bowl engraved on one end going one direction, and an iron bowl on the other. And it looks like it has a button on either side that you can push in.
Okie dokie, some sort of one thing. There's nothing here.
Cool. Don't know why you had to announce that.
Just a thumbs up from the ground.
After I koala bear, twist around, jump off, make a cool tumbling roll, slide superhero pose. I'll stand up and be like, oh, I keep forgetting you're not very strong. That suit of armor really, really throws me off sometimes.
It's quite
And I run
deceiving.
over.
It makes me look much bigger than I actually am.
I mean, it works, and it just confuses me sometimes. And I try to help you. I clean you off of spider webs, and I try to pick you up.
I imagine this is difficult.
Yeah.
I think that she'll just kip up.
Sounds
I
good.
helped.
Maisie, can you get your Mr. Snuffleupagus to go get the other one, please?
Oh, Mr. Snicklebox. It's not really a Mister, it's just Snicklebox.
Mr.
But yeah, I
Magic
can send him up. Go on, buddy.
Right.
And Snicklebox once more just steadily crawls off.
And wait, it not on me! To the side. To the side.
Next to her.
Okay.
Glad I clarified this time.
So, as it goes up, it spends a minute or so up there, and then you hear again that same snapping sound. And are you taking a step back?
I'm gonna stand as still as possible.
Okay. So since you have stood completely still, the body falls, for a moment you had thought about, okay, I should probably step out of the way. But where you had thought about stepping to is where the body falls and then lays off to the side, as you had told Snicklebox to get it as close to you as possible without actually hitting you.
It's a very smart spider.
He's very smart.
Okay.
And at that, you just see, again, the mandibles just come over.
Alright, so I'm going to investigate this guy with my normal dagger.
Okay.
Because everyone's watching.
Since everyone's watching.
Ooh, 20. Not natural. Not fine.
All right. So on this guy, you end up finding a what looks like a journal, as well as 15 gold pieces and 40 silver pieces.
Nice.
How many gold pieces?
15.
Oh, 15. I'm going to try to pocket the gold. And
Okay.
as I hand off the book.
Oh.
So I'm sleight of hand.
Yeah. Make a sleight of hand check. You can have it with advantage because you're trying to here's the thing I'm totally showing you.
Yeah.
Pocket.
Oh, good. That's 1-7. You can go back in the box.
He notices, but he doesn't really pay any mind. He's been pretty
those
open.
are my friends.
Oh yeah. So if you guys would like to make perception checks while Tiefa does this, you can.
Don't mind if I do.
Sure.
16.
Natural 19.
16.
I think 21.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm not smooth about it at all.
No,
I
everyone.
think everyone's just standing there arms crossed
I mean, I said that you could have whatever you found in here as long as it wasn't the spider. So
You said-
We've talked about this, Tiefa.
Who else but Tiefa?
Oh, Tiefa.
You rogue.
Sorry. Yes. No, there's gold. There was gold. I'll just put it in the party funds.
I look at Viper.
The party funds, like when we party. I got it.
I mean, I know all the best people in town.
She likes to hold shiny things.
That's it.
It's not much of a treasury if you're both holding on to your own money and the party's money at the same time.
I mean, it's not the party money. It's the party.
Raise the roof,
drinking. Yes,
Yeah,
it's
have
drinking.
fun.
it's like a
That's
rainy
nice.
day fund, but for beer.
It's
How do
you have to
know
have
that
fun
term?
sometimes.
Does it rain underground?
Sometimes.
I don't want to know. Let's move on from this conversation. I suddenly
Yeah.
really don't want to know.
We have something that looks like snow sometimes.
I don't.
It's spiders.
Oh god.
Is it the shedding?
Viper's just gonna
No, don't.
abruptly walk away from this combat.
We'll have a big party afterwards.
What's the journal? What's in the journal?
What's in the box?
Oh, let me look. I mean, you found it on a dead man. I have no idea what's inside of here.
Dear diary.
Today I found a spider cave.
And he looks through it, and in this journal,
Dear diary. Today I ate an adventure.
It's the spider's journal.
This is the Journal of the Magic Spider. This talks about eating people. No, so he spends a little bit of time while you guys walk out of this web-filled room, just reading this journal, and then he ends up letting you know as soon as he's got a good idea of what it is. This seems to be an explorer's log of sorts, kind of documenting how they got to here, the Temple of the Magic Spider. It's sources like these that I was able to kind of backtrace to find my way here. Mm-hmm. This is just one of the journals that didn't make it out.
Right. Did anyone else want to search the other body?
Oh yeah, I could search it.
Oh yes, have fun desecrating all the bodies.
Yep.
Absolutely.
While everybody's doing this, Viper will finish clearing a way out of this red area.
That was a very bad roll. I got a 5.
Okay. So your hands are just like covered in webs. Like you're like trying to like dig through this, but it's just not working. And the way that you've been digging it out kind of is like clumping web bits on this guy, and it doesn't look very neat or pleasant at all. But you end up getting through to kind of the chest, like towards the torso area. You clear out more, not really wanting to see the same grotesque face that Tiefa had seen when she opened hers up. And inside, you see that there is a holy symbol of Lolth, just kind of like on a chain.
Oh, well then, I'm not a religious person. I'm like, hey, I found this thing.
Religion check.
Yep, you can make a religion check.
I don't have religion, I have history. Can that work too?
Yes, because this is a very prominent deity. This isn't as obscure of one.
Also a deity that
Weird.
has been mentioned.
Like, you've heard of a lot of people loving spiders, but like this weird silvered talisman of a spider with 8 small set eyes just looks weird.
It hypnotoads and I zone out.
I'm like, well, you know what? Maybe Marcus will like this. No, that's not his name. Martin. No.
Milo.
It's Milo.
Milo.
Is
yes.
it Milo? Oh, I totally had it.
Maybe you will like
Well, he said to call him
spider thing.
I understand that my full name is
because he
very
thought
difficult.
that his real name would be too hard for us.
You've been pretty close for the most part this journey, so I've kind of just been rolling with it. As long as you get Snicklebox's name okay, things should be fine.
Yes, the tackle
yeah.
box. Now, when what is the this spider? What is his name in Elvish? You don't have
Snicklebox?
to make it up. And oh yeah, no, not your spider. The big spider.
Oh.
I'm just wondering if there's like a translation thing that we're missing because he's saying it in common.
You kind of translated a little bit, and the elven word that he would be using at this time is the phrase Anansi.
Okay.
Ah.
I don't get that. I don't actually know Elvish. What does it translate similar? Because I do. My character knows Elvish.
Yeah.
I don't.
It means spider.
Anansi isn't necessarily a singular spider. It's more of the concept of what a spider is. And that concept, because the Drow people have had such faith in spiders and have put all of what they believe into these spiders, that concept kind of turned into a form. And that form itself is what Milo believes to be the magic spider. He's calling it Anansi. When he kind of switches between Elven and Common when muttering to himself. But for the most part, there doesn't seem to be much in terms of missing translation.
Okay. And he believes that we are going to find this spider
Yes.
or something. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's like he is super psyched. He's been psyched this whole trip that you guys are finally going to be able to find this spider specifically.
Right. The one that we're supposed to be on the back of, because it's like it is the Earth spider, the Earth.
No.
universe
He
spider.
wants to find a mural of the world spider, which he thinks that we're going to find along the way. That's
More of like a
tourist
side quest. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a thing that I want personally, but I know doesn't really interest very many people.
Well, you're paying us. I can be as interested as you want.
I didn't realize it was that simple. I would have paid people to be interested a long time ago.
Do you have something else you would like me to be interested in? I can.
I know, for a little bit of extra gold, anything.
Yeah, nice.
Well, luckily,
anything.
there's not too much to be interested in down here for you humans, unless you're a real fan of spiders, which, based on your reaction to the spiders outside, my spider, all of these webs, you're not too big on. I mean, you didn't even recognize the Loth symbol. And I'll point to the symbol that Sulong is holding.
Right.
Still zoning out.
Watch it.
Didn't pay that much attention at school.
The symbol of law. I am so surprised and excited.
Exactly, that is the reaction that people normally have when looking at a holy symbol of Loth.
Yes.
But if you all would like to go to the next room, it seems like Viper's
Yes,
cleared the way.
please. Yes.
Yeah.
Lead the way.
All right,
There's
so
Viper.
you guys go to the next room, and you just get the fuck out of this weird, creepy, spidery room. And that is when you go down a longer hallway that opens up. And I would like for you guys to make perception checks as it opens up into the next room.
Should I be checking for traps?
Yeah.
Probably.
So you'll be moving at
18.
half speed, but make a perception check.
What was the first one? Still perception check?
Yes, perception for spotting the room and like as you come in. The second one was specifically for Tiefa as they are investigating for traps.
That
As far
perception.
as marching order, I think Milo's in the front and Viper's right behind.
If I'm checking for traps, I should be right behind him. I got a 16.
Yeah.
For traps.
There doesn't seem to be any traps laid out on this.
21.
Okay.
Yep, 18. I'll be behind them.
All right, so
Behind
as
the-
you enter into this next chamber, you can see along the far left wall is a giant picture of what you would assume to be a spider, but it has at the end of each of its legs there it looks like again this is the what Milo has told you all is the world spider. Where you can see that there is a representation of the material plane on the back of the spider, and there's a reflection of it as well as a similarly looking plane, but it's much darker. And then at the end of each of the legs, you can see that there is that it sort of swirls into a reddish color, and then another one that swirls into a bluish color, and another into a deep green, and another that goes into a kind of whitish color. It's more white gray that has streaks running through it, almost like it was the end. Like almost looks like it's a still of a tornado going through it. And at each of these legs, you can see just branching off into individual pieces of a much larger web. And Milo's eyes get wide as he starts stepping forward, but then stops as along the floor, you see this, what looks to be the outline of yet again a much larger spider. But the tiling on the floor is differently colored. And who got a over 20 perception check? So
Okay.
Su Long, you notice that along the pattern itself, there are like in the black markings along the ground, some of the tiles that have been set into the ground are missing, almost like they fell, almost like they have fallen from where they currently are.
So I'll quickly like hook my quarterstaff into like the underside of Milo's breeches like a wedgie and pull him back slightly,
Okay.
like yank.
Yeah. No, he kind of like he doesn't really understand why you've pulled him back, but he gets pulled back with you.
Yeah. And then I'm going to sort of, with the other butt end of the quarterstaff, guide the drift globe down to like over like one of the pits just to show everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we should be a little careful around here.
Well, I'm sure it's fine. I mean, why would they? It's a temple. Why would they put something to stop people from worshiping inside of a temple?
This is
Viper will kick a rock out onto the tiles.
Okay. Yeah, so the rock just skids onto the tile. Doesn't seem to cause anything to happen. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Does your notebook say anything about the tile of death?
Let me check real quick. And he starts looking through his notebook. And he looks through it, and there doesn't seem to be anything about tiling along the floor. Truth be told, I did get this book from a drow adventurer, so they probably had something like Snickelbox and didn't even bother touching the floor.
Can he carry all of us across?
Oh Lord, no.
Not as long.
He is not. I still need to
I think-
feed him many other stronger spiders before he can become that strong.
I think at the same time when Milo says, "Oh Lord, no," Sulong says, "Oh Lord, no."
Just
No, I mean, like,
Entirely
one at a
different
time.
inflection.
I still don't think one at a time will work. I'm very light and I travel light as well. But one of your friends is heavily armored.
I'm not that heavily armored.
No.
And he's just looking at Viper while he says that.
Oh,
Viper's already looking at him.
I'm
Like-
going to make an investigation check
Okay.
to see if I can figure out this trap.
Sure.
I'm assuming it's a trap. Oh, why do you go so far away from me? 17.
All right. So with the 17, you gingerly put your foot out onto it, and the tile seems to hold. But as you start applying more and more pressure on it, you hear it's like a breaking noise from underneath it, until it's followed by a wooden snap, and then the tile just kind of sifts off to the side and falls.
Oh, degradation then.
Are tiles like with the
With the black.
like where on the pattern are most of the holes?
All of the
Like-
holes are within the outline of the black spider.
so basically we're standing
On
inside
the
the white.
inside of where the spider is, or where the spider isn't?
Where the spider is, all of the outline of the spider itself is what has holes in it. But it looks like if you were to stand either on the white space where its legs aren't going, that you would be able to stand just fine. It seems like the pits are only opening on the spider tiles.
Okay. Is there anything particular about the center, basically where the Black Widow sort of insignia is on it? Or is it just like tiling?
It just looks like standard tiling.
Cool, let's avoid that then.
Good
Because
plan.
that looks like a jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So each of these squares, each of the tiles where the outline is roughly about 5 feet. So you will try. You are going to have to try and jump over sections of it if you don't want to step on it at all. But if you would like to quickly run across, you can also try and do that as well. And you see Milo just. None of this seems like anything I want to deal with. And so Snicklebox just sets itself against the walls, and you see his ragdoll legs just move up onto the ceiling. There. Now I don't have to touch the floor at all.
It's great for you.
And
And we
he
had to go this direction, right?
Viper kind of visibly sighs and steps back and pushes someone else forward. Whoever's closest. Any volunteers?
Sulong will do like a leg stretch. Well, in for a penny, and he
Got him,
dashes
butt slap.
dashes across the black.
all right. So make a. Are you just trying to like run all out, or are you trying to like make sure that you're hopping from point to point to point?
I'll hop from point to point just so that people have a little bit of leverage behind me.
All right. So make an acrobatics check as you try and keep your steps very light as you're going through this.
Hey, I'm gonna roll that d4 just in case.
Okay.
Where's my pointy boys? There's my pointy boys. I haven't stepped on these in a month. Here it is. Cool. So with that, it's a 17.
All right. Yeah. So where are you just looking to go all the way across the room, or are you looking to
Yeah,
go...
like I'll start from the bottom left, like where we are, and
Okay.
then go like clockwise up.
Okay, yeah. So with your 17, you managed to just get all the way around the room. You spend, if we were going by combat actions, it would just be a dash and then your standard movement.
My standard.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's about 60 feet to get onto the other side, but you managed to do it without any of the floorboards breaking underneath you as you have jumped specifically on the white spaces, so that way you know that the floor won't fall out based on the knowledge that Tiefa gave you.
Now that I think about it, maybe I should have gone last because I have the light source.
Yeah. So,
I'll cast Dancing Lights in the middle so
Okay.
we can see.
So yeah, there are just these 3 globules of light just sort of floating around.
Alright. Viper crosses her arms and looks back and forth between Tiefa and Colin.
You know what?
Colin. Tiefa.
Milo.
Colin.
Milo.
He's drawing out the world spider. Yes?
I'm getting really uncomfortable with all of this. I'm very nervous about going across this, and I'm wondering, I am very small and I don't have a lot of items. I was wondering if maybe your spider could just carry me across.
Well,
I'm gonna roll deception.
I don't see why not. And he lowers himself down. All right, Snicklebox, you know what to do. And he just continues drawing out the world spider. He seems much more focused on that. Like, you could have asked him for pretty much anything in that moment. He would be like, yeah, sure, whatever, ask your mom. Like, it does not matter to him at all. And so, yeah.
Viper is mom.
So Snicklebox walks along the wall, making sure not to step towards you, until it's very close to you.
Good boy.
Make an animal handling check.
Oh.
I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Get
I'm going
head by
to.
the spider and then dropped it a hole.
Don't fuck me with. Oh yeah, that's an 8 plus 1.
You say
My favorite
18?
dice. 18 plus
18.
1. 19.
Nice. So yeah, you gingerly put your hand out, but kind of remembering the way that you would first get to know like the bloodhounds that your father had in that same kind of gentle, like, please don't eat me kind of way. You extend your hand out and you can see the mandibles on Snickelbox's face just, and he puts just one gently on your finger and you can feel it just drag along your palm, but seeing that you aren't super weirded out, he will crawl down off the wall towards your feet, and if you will let him, starts climbing up your back.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let's do this.
All right. So
Any way to not have to do that, I'm good.
yeah, so Snickelbox puts its arms against the side walls and starts carrying you up. And it's very weird because this is like getting pulled into a direction, but again, you have muscle control over your lower half, but there's no way for you to put your feet anywhere to make them useful.
Right.
So it kind of makes sense that Milo has just been letting his body dangle whenever Snickelbox takes him anywhere, as it's much easier to just kind of let this spider do its thing, like, please there, and spider will take. And so in this situation, you have expressed that you want to go to the other side of the room. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so just across the top part of the ceiling, you all watch as Tifa's lower limp half just sways over past the dancing lights. Yeah, you just flip out. And it drops you down onto the other side. So your feet are standing, and then you feel the mandibles just come off of your back as it a little slow for your taste. Like it's one of those like, please no, like get off. No, I'm done with this.
You're good.
Does Snickelbox make like a suction cup sound? Like
no. Thank God, no.
Thank you, Snickelbox, and I don't know. I give him dried meat.
Oh, he is all about that dried meat.
Yeah.
He's super happy. Just
all right. I got the pen.
I look over to Viper and I'm like, wow, she must really like that spider. She called him by his real name and gave him food. She doesn't even do that to us.
Chaotic neutral. I do what I want.
Viper's just got like her arms crossed and shaking her head.
All right, Viper. Would you like to go next, or do you want to go last?
I should probably go last. I imagine there's going to be some noise.
That is a good point. All right, I go for it.
okay.
Oh, 11.
All right. So with an 11, what path are you attempting to go through this? Are you attempting to follow the clockwise that Sun Lu went, or are you trying a different way?
I'm trying to go the way that'll make it the easiest for Viper. If like anything will break off, I don't want to break anything and make it harder for Viper.
So you kind of skirt around the outside of the area, but as your foot presses down towards the back wall, as you're trying to just like skirt around the walls, you start hearing that same wooden creaking noise, and you look down, and one of your feet is actually on one of the black tiles. So make a dexterity saving throw as the tile breaks way underneath you.
Forgot
That's
to guide you.
great. That's 10.
All right, 10. So it gives out underneath you, and you kind of slip and fall, but you don't fall into the hole. You just kind of fall onto the ground next to it, and you can feel your lower half start sliding down underneath, but you manage to reach out and grab onto just the seam of another tile and pull yourself back up, avoiding falling into God knows what. But there is now an additional hole in the ground, Viper, that you can see, where your friend almost fell through the ground.
Right.
But with that, Colin, you have a very long stretch of safe tiles that you can walk on.
All right, I will do that.
All right, so you go until the very end again. Make another acrobatics check. to
Make a
try
what
and
check?
leap over the last 2 sets of spider legs.
An acrobatics check, you said?
Yes.
12.
All right. So with your 12, this reminds you of some of the games that the monks from your monastery would play, where it's almost like hopscotch, but you're going for distance rather than pinpoint precision. And you just leap over the last 2 of those spider legs and just nope, and you are safe next to Sulong and Tiefa and Viper. It is just you on the other side of the room, as you see that Snicklebox has once more latched itself onto the back of Milo.
How far away is the shortest point of like the butt end of that spider to the head of the spider?
It
guy?
is about from butt to head. It's roughly 30 feet. It makes up about half the room.
Can I huck 50 feet of rope at Viper?
You
Like holding one end, so it's like a guy.
ever tried to throw rope before?
Tie it
Once.
to something first.
Uh,
Just like lasso.
Yeah.
Lasso Viper and just drag her.
Do you have like an explorer's pack?
I have the nobles pack, so no.
All right.
I have a grappling hook.
You could throw Tifa's grappling hook, and that would actually have be weighted enough at the end that you could throw it.
Okay, so I'll throw the grappling hook without the rope. I'll tie it.
Take
to
off
the
the
end of
rope.
grappling hook.
Okay, grappling
And
hook.
grappling hook. Catch, Viper! Ha! That's what you meant, right?
Can Viper just catch it?
So
Cool.
I would like for Sulong to make an improvised ranged weapon attack, as you as 60 feet would put you at disadvantage when trying to make it over. So you're going to have to roll your like a dexterity attack, but at disadvantage because this is farther
Okay.
out. But if
So
you were
I'll
to go
get
to the
to
butt of the spider, actually just make it regular, because if you went to the butt of the spider and tossed it forward, that would be fine.
It'd be 30 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And improvise also gives me disadvantage anyway, right? Because I'm not proficient.
No, it's you just don't add your proficiency bonus.
Okay. 12.
All right, yeah, so 12, it skitters across the floor. Like, it doesn't go as far as you wanted. It doesn't really sink into anything because there's nothing for it to sink into, but now there is a grappling hook next to you, Viper. And
All right.
Sulong has the other end of the rope.
She'll kick that up with her foot, catch it, wrap it around her waist, secure. And then she's
I'd like
just
to
gonna-
remind you, I'm not strong.
She sprints.
Neither am I.
she's-
I'll hug Sulong as mostly moral support because I'm not strong either.
This
But
is
here
how
we
you
are.
TPK.
I'm just going to watch
she's
another
gonna-
happen.
She's gonna run counterclock the other direction.
Okay,
Um,
so make an athletics
and she's
check.
actually gonna stop halfway through in front of Errol if she can.
Okay,
Acrobatics?
yeah.
Alright. That's a 1.
Oh god.
Oh, all right.
Roll some strength checks.
Yeah.
Do you have guidance?
So you are running forward and you go to jump, and your jump, you time it just not that great. So where normally you were jumping right as it met the black tiles, instead you tried putting the weight for your spring onto the black tiles, and it just breaks the boards underneath you, and the rest of you just see your friend start gone as the rope starts going through your hands. So whoever is holding onto the rope, make a strength saving throw.
Can we aid it? Never mind, he's got it.
Natural 20.
Woo!
Yeah, so
Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah, Colin, you know, your hug did a lot more than you were thinking, because right now Sulong is just like the beefiest you've ever seen this guy. As like you said you would, you will catch your friend as they fall. So Viper, you fall for about 10 feet down a shaft, and then you feel the rope just catch. And so you stop falling, and you look down, and you can see about from the lights above you, about 30 feet below from where you are, just the glinting of metal spikes that all seem to just be facing upwards towards you.
Alright.
Is everything
I'll-
all right over there?
I'll look around and see if there's any handhold.
No, there doesn't seem to be any. But looking,
All right.
make a perception check.
Okay. That's another one.
Okay, yeah.
Goodbye, guys.
It's very dark. So yeah, there is the rope just coming up from your waist, so you can start climbing up that rope.
Yeah, gonna have to do that.
Make an athletics check.
Can I send Bolt to scurry, like tightrope style, along it and then down to Viper?
Piece of crap.
Who?
Bolt, my ferret.
Oh.
Yeah, you can send Bolt down.
Yeah. And I'll let him sit on her shoulder, and I'll cast guidance through Bolt.
Nice. So yeah, you can add for what'd you get?
Oh, what did you roll? Another one? Don't tell
I
me.
mean, I'm gonna go ahead and my guidance is not gonna help because I rolled a 4. 7.
Yeah, so you're just feeling very disoriented at this point. So like you grab the rope, and as you pull up, you're still feeling kind of weak from the jostling force of the rope catching against your abdomen. So it's more like getting punched in the gut. Like you had your wind knocked out of you, so you like getting your wind knocked out of you and then immediately trying to climb back up a rope just isn't really working for you at this time. So you just sort of like spin. You don't fall, you don't climb up, you just sort of spin there.
Tiefa, there's 5 gold in it if you help.
I'm in. I'm gonna start pulling him back.
All right, so make a round of strength checks for everybody who's pulling.
Ooh,
Oh my gosh, that was almost really bad.
13.
Okay.
Strength
15.
check? you
Yeah.
said? 16.
Yeah. So with all 3 of you pulling your friend back up, Viper, you managed to pop back up over the hole that you have found yourself in, but you are currently back on that floor with your friends. However,
Let's
you
not
are
do that
still in the medium, like in the median area, as you haven't cleared the remaining 2 legs of the spider.
Right.
Maybe we should tie this rope onto something. Just, you
Well,
know,
she's
just
closer now, yeah.
Yeah. Just like Viper, just take a breath, take a second.
Don't
Really
die.
center yourself.
Okay.
I could coach you through some of the things the monks taught me when I was younger. Don't remember a lot of it, but I could try. Just meditate, breathe in.
Bolt will
Breathe out.
inspirationally lick her neck. Guidance.
Except that it's just helmet. Like it's just like licking metal helmet.
I mean, look, there's a cowl there, but
It's the thought that counts.
I'm
He
gonna,
bleps reassuringly.
Viper is encouraged by how adorable. Shoot. Okay. She's
be
supposed
cast.
to be good at this. Like Dex is her highest stat. She just rolled poorly.
Me.
Really
Let's tie this off before Viper tries again. And I say it
Yep.
quietly this long, not to insult Viper.
Like
She'll
pride-
A
she'll
little
let
calmer.
them. She'll let them do that. In the meantime, she's probably right next to the
right next to the what?
mural.
You were going counterclockwise.
Yeah, the other way around.
Yeah. So
I guess that is clockwise. Never mind.
yeah. So if you were going clockwise, then yeah, you're standing next to Milo and the giant mosaic that is in this wall. Oh, I didn't see you there. Is everything okay?
She's like probably leaned over, just kind of like taking a breather, and then thumbs up.
Well, excellent. Just let me know when you get to the other side of this room, and I'll wrap up what I'm doing, and I'll come over to you all.
Yeah. Is there any
Nods.
place to tie this off?
No. There is no, there are no outcroppings or anything like that for you to actually wrap a
Can
rope
we-
around.
I will tie it
Can we
around
get in
my
it?
own waist.
Can we throw a piton into the ground and use that?
Yep.
Oh,
You
okay,
could,
we can do that.
Yeah, you could knock a piton into the ground.
All right, I'll take that.
I'm gonna start looking ahead,
Okay.
searching for traps.
Viper's gonna take a running start this time.
Do it.
And try not to psych herself out. She's got guidance from Weasel Licks, yeah?
Yes.
Alright, let's do this. Oh, much better. 17
All right.
with the guidance.
So yeah, with a 17, you clear
actually,
this.
even more.
Yeah, you clear it.
Even
No
more.
problem.
Actually, I've got freaking 5 to acrobatics. It's like 20 something. Hold on.
Dang.
I can do 23.
It's perfect. Yeah, so you managed to hop over the legs of the spider, no problem. So now all of you are actually in the back, except I believe Tiefa went forward to check for traps.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Just a freaking Jedi flip.
Yeah. No, you guys are all like, why is there a floor trap in this? I don't understand.
Who
But
does
yeah.
that?
So Milo just kind of looks up. Oh, are you guys ready to go? I'm almost done with what I'm doing. So I could wrap it up, and then just on the way out, I'll
Sure.
probably write down more of this.
Yep, sounds
Is
good.
Thumbs up,
interesting.
and then like I give my water flask over to like Viper to hold real quick, and then I ask her like dump them on my hands because they're probably like blistered from holding the rope.
Oh yeah.
I will cast frostbite just at like the wall or something, and just like get that
Ah.
numbing frost and just like
Oh
put
yeah, there you go.
my hands on his hands.
Yeah.
Nice.
thanks.
Yes.
I'm gonna take back my rope and grappling hook.
It's my rope.
Just my grappling hook.
You take back your grappling hook.
I had rope attached to it. I don't know why you took my rope off to put your rope on, but it's fine. I mean,
Because it's my rope.
no, that's fine. No.
You can't see Viper's face right now, but she's exuding like an aura of guilt.
So there's a door. What is it?
It's just it is an opening way that looking forward is it's a hallway that goes forward for a little bit and then just turns to the left, and you can't really see much looking forward.
Matanazi boy, it's time to go.
Yeah. And he puts some finishing touches on what he had been working on and just... This book alone will fetch me a fortune when I go back to the top side. I now have a picture of the world, Spider.
For science, right? Not for money.
Yeah, sure.
For science money.
Sometimes the same thing.
I think that's what they call grants.
I don't know what that means. It doesn't translate into Elvish very well.
Hmm.
Lead the way, sir.
All right. Well, the journal says that there's a small winding hallway, and then we get to the room of trials, which should be fun. Threads and
You
trials.
mean this wasn't a room of trials?
Oh no,
Only one.
no. If
Only one.
I mean, if
Well,
any
it's
of you
supposed
had
to be.
been like a regular drow and had your back spider with you, this wouldn't have even been an issue. This is strictly to keep out outsiders who aren't as good at climbing.
Right.
And children who haven't earned their spider wings.
Well, clearly, I mean, you kind of want to vet the children as you go along, so only the strongest drow live by the end. You don't eat the children to gain their powers. That's strictly a spider thing. I want to
They're not as
eschew
strong.
all any kind of notion that you would have that drow eat children. I don't know if that's something that you four believe, but I have been called a baby eater before by a group of humans. They were very rude. Chased
I'm
me out of
sorry you
town.
experienced that.
It's all right.
I
You
mean,
all
I
seem
wasn't thinking
nice.
it before.
No,
But,
but now
you
I
know.
kind of am thinking that.
Yeah,
Well-
now that you suggest it.
No, see, that's the problem, is that when you say that you're not something, people immediately assume that you're that. So I always
Gotta want
come
to
up front,
mean
I am a
such a-
drow explorer, and everyone
Not a
just
baby
sort of...
eater.
Not a baby eater.
Is that on your card? Or like
I should get cards. After
I
this.
mean,
Maybe
Yeah.
that's what I could ask. Maybe that's what I could ask the magic spider for, is cards.
Wait, do we get wishes?
Sometimes. I'm not really sure. I just know that the spider is all powerful.
Right.
Okay.
And
Well then.
as we continue down, I would say, so if the world is on the spider's back, right?
On
And
a
there's-
spider's back, yes.
But aren't we going to that spider? Or is it a different spider?
Common human misconception. This is
No?
in the same way that the king and the earth are different things.
Right.
The world spider is different than the magic spider.
Oh,
I don't know. It depends on who you ask.
right. One is bigger. than
One
the
is
other.
much bigger. We're on the back of him right now.
That's what I'm saying. I thought it was strange if we were going to find the spider that we were on the back of. So,
No, you'll know the magic spider when you see it.
Because it's magic.
It wears a crown to let
Oh, it
you
was
know.
a crown.
Oh, okay.
I'm excited. All right. I'm just picturing this itty bitty crown on a giant spider.
Yeah. No. Make a history check.
Okay. I have stuff in that. 13.
You remember the way that he's describing the magic spider is the same way that you saw the carving on the outside of the temple with the spider wearing a tiny little crown.
I'm excited to see this. I hope someone can draw this.
Well, don't worry. Once we're all out of here, I'm sure the bards will be singing tales of the magic spider.
If they're not already.
If they're not already, indeed. And you guys progress forward until you go. You take a left, and then you see that hallway just turn into a sharp right. You go down that hallway, and again it turns right. And then you can see from that there is a left-hand turn, and through the left-hand turn, just peeking out. And the entire time you're looking for traps, and you can't really find any. If they were there, they've either been triggered long ago and just not bothered to be reset, or this seems to be a kind of a lull point. But going into this room, you see that there are 7 doors inside of this room, and it looks like this. And there are several sconces that have a low blue flame, just kind of flickering to allow extra lighting. And that flame glitters off of silver inlaid lettering that seems to stretch all along the ceiling of the room. And the two of you that can speak Elvish can actually read this. And it says, "Decisions, decisions, decisions to make. Through these doors, you decide your fate. Threads that break, threads that bind, threads of fear within the mind. Threads that lie and threads that forsake. Which thread do you pull? Your decision awaits." And looking to your left, where in the map there's a small box, you see that there are 8 different colored threads. And as you go over to inspect the threads, the door behind you actually closes.
Oh, lovely. Can you post that, please?
Yes, I will be sure to write that out.
Okay. Just because I'm not gonna remember all. So the box on the wall has threads in it.
Yes, it has just going like in a small box, like a chamber kind of set back into the wall from the top of the box down. There is you see a blue thread, a green thread, a purple thread, a black thread, a red thread, a white thread, a yellow thread, and a gray thread, and there are 8 of them.
It's just threads. There's nothing to them besides that.
No, it just goes from top to bottom. And that's
Blue,
it.
green, purple, black, white, red.
White, red, yellow, and gray.
There's 8 threads, but only 7 doors.
Yeah.
There was the door that you guys came out of that sealed behind you,
Right.
making the 8th door.
Okay.
At least I
Molly,
think.
Molly, this does this mean
Yes.
anything to you?
Well, that's the thing. This is where the journal stops.
Well, yes, but this is your religion, yes.
I follow, for the
Right,
most
so
part. It's
this-
been a few.
You're
been a few-
spiritual.
It's been a few centuries since I went to temple,
Oh,
but
well-
but you know, there
I
are a
believe
few
in a
things
higher
you don't
power.
forget. Yeah.
do these colors register anything in your?
Oh,
beautiful brain?
Drow are quite colorblind. I mean, in the dark they are.
Yeah. Does anyone have a clue on to what this could be? The sign above says something about picking a thread and I can't remember it. It's very high up.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and read that out loud for the rest of the group.
I will.
Is there anything on... When I look up at the ceiling, is there anything on the ceiling?
So looking up onto the ceiling, you see that there is a colored spider that corresponds with each one of the colored threads. And the thread and the color above the door that you just came through was the white door. So you feel like if you interact with the white thread in this little alcove, that you would be able to possibly do something with that door.
Okay.
Life through a series of John Mulaney quotes. And also with you. What? What?
Huh? What?
When
'Cause
did they
that's the
change it on
shiny
me?
red wagon. That's Milo going to like Spider Church.
Mm-hmm.
Spurch.
Spurch.
All right. So who wants to pull the first string?
I mean, I think it's a little on the nose, but Red String of Fate?
I imagine this is going to affect more than just the string.
I agree.
Yeah.
So these doors, you decide your fates. Threads that break, threads that bind, threads of fear within the mind, threads that line, threads that forsake. I think we should start looking at the doors.
Yeah. I'm gonna look at in front of the doors to see if there's any like marks of, you know, a trap that went off and possibly scarred the ground.
Okay. So make an investigation check.
Oh, that was almost really good.
Always good.
Investigation. 9.
All right. Yeah, none of these doors are giving you a particular vibe one way or the other.
Do they look-
There,
The floor.
there are colors over the doors, yes?
Correct.
Okay, and white is the one that we came in through, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
What is the color over the north door?
The northmost door is purple.
Okay, and then the one after that, if we're going clockwise.
Going
Because I know what
clockwise.
that
So against the far wall to the highest is blue.
Mhm.
Okay,
And then below blue is black.
okay,
Beneath black is green.
alright,
Beneath green is red.
okay,
On the south wall, closest to the other doors, is the yellow door. And then closest to the white is the gray.
Gray door. So, all right, for posterity's sake, I'm gonna try the white string.
Okay. And when you tug on the white string, the door that was the exit steadily opens up.
Ooh, thanks,
Are
Wings.
are the other doors closed?
Yes, all of the doors are
Okay.
closed except for the white one, which has now been
Right.
opened.
There are 8 legs to a spider. Does that mean anything?
Well, there are 8 doors.
8 doors, yeah.
The
Well,
one
yes,
we
that's
leave.
what I'm saying.
We believe they're white.
Do spiders, does this magic spider have a color that is associated with it? Like its crown is gold or something?
Its crown is gold. It has, or at least I would think that it's gold. I'm not sure. Most crowns are either gold or silver. I would like to think gold, as it is the shining beacon of hope in my otherwise dull life. But it could be silver, as silver is a very, very drow color.
Right.
Going back to the mural of the spider, did it have any, like, of the orbs, that spiraled off? Do the colors coincide with what we have working with us right now?
They do not, actually.
Sad.
I think that we should let our friends and his spider friend decide. Why don't we let the spider decide our fate?
Oh dear. I suppose Snicklebox could try and determine a good door to go through.
Could he go up and touch them and sense?
That's only if he's touching webs.
Because otherwise I'm just going to start pulling random ones.
I mean, your guess is as good as mine. Well, mine is better because I'm a drow and you're a human, but I'm sure you still have very good guesses.
Viper is gonna tap Milo on the shoulder. May I see your notes?
Yes, of course. He hands her his notebook.
All right,
Please don't destroy it.
Flip to the page where he fooling around with the mural. And I'm gonna see if I'm gonna try and see if there's any might correlate here.
Make an investigation check.
Hey Milo, this area is called the Trials, right? Trials of the something or another?
The Trials of the Threads, yes.
As in plural?
Well, there are 8 threads. I'm sure that there would be at least 8 trials.
Well, what are the odds that we've got to go
all of
through
them?
all of them?
Should we rest? I mean, I feel like we need it's the middle of the night now.
We can
Plus
take
for
a
me.
rest.
I
Yeah, we can rest.
rolled a 2. I should know my group fairly well at this point. Who among us has the highest intelligence? Who's the smartest?
Well, isn't
He doesn't read Elven.
I don't read Elven.
Well,
All of
I
Milo's
can
notes are in
translate.
Elven.
We can...
This is true. You can help. You can make an investigation check. It would normally be with disadvantage because you can't read it, but you have somebody who is helping you out, which would give you advantage, so it just checks out to a flat roll.
And I'll guide you as well.
18. Is that... You said man here? No, that's spider. Spider? Yeah, they all say spider. It's a spider book.
The easiest shorthand a drow has
There
is
are
writing
actually
spider
50
for
different
things.
an elf or spider.
I rolled an 18.
All right. So with your 18, lining it up, just off the bat, it doesn't really fit with the way that the mosaic spider was laid out, with the way that the room was. But after you turn the mosaic spider a few times, you can see that leading with its legs leading outward, where the white would actually be the butt end of the spider, where you would assume all of the web would come through.
Oh. Butts.
But looking into this, you see, so you would see that the purple room, with the way that the legs of the spider are laid out, leads to what you would believe to be the negative energy plane.
Oh, they're all the planes. Don't go to the red one. That one's fire.
Or at least it corresponds. You're not exactly sure.
So where would the spider be if what plane? What is magic? It's magic spider?
The magic spider.
If
Well,
we were talking about plane, purple would be negative.
right.
Fire, then water. Green would be wind or the airplane.
Yes, because that
The
was
spider is
spider
missing a
one.
leg.
The gray. What was the gray?
Maybe material?
What material was on his back? Is that wrong?
You guys kind of had to like deconstruct the mosaic in order to fit it really well.
Yeah.
Mostly because it was in the shape of a large spider, but once you moved the legs from being in more of a pincer style shape to being more spread out, it starts to line up a little bit more.
Okay.
If I knew I was going to be taking classes, I would have never left home.
Was the material plane one of the legs, or was it on its back?
The material plane was on its back.
Okay.
So you aren't seeing the
Regular
material plane
planes.
line up with any of these doors.
Right. So, black. What was black? What would black be? Would be the hellish plane.
Yeah, that would line up more towards the infinite layers of the abyss.
Let's go
Alright,
there.
Here we go.
Let's not.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Hey Milo, what are the odds that
Did I fail to include 8 doors? I thought I had written.
No. There are 8 doors.
Okay, including
There
the white
are
one,
8
sorry.
doors. The 8th one goes out.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
eighth one
white's
is the
white's
white
the
one,
last
yeah.
one.
Yeah, Milo, what are the chances that we have to go through all of these?
I would say very slim.
Good.
We just
Okay.
need to find the right one.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Let's just go through all of the planes and
Let's
figure
not go
out.
through
Right.
negative.
No.
Positive planes.
Not physically,
No.
but like so
Metaphorically,
red
Oh.
is fire.
ideologically.
Right,
Oh,
red
you-
is fire, blue is water,
Yeah.
green is air.
Which one is Earth?
It's on his back. Material plane, or is there's a
No,
there-
Earth is a plane.
Do the earth plane is green?
So
And
would
air is
gray be
yellow?
the airplane?
What is
No,
yellow?
no, yellow would be Earth, green would be air.
What plane do we need to go to?
What?
Was
Wait,
was
no.
the green one the one with the swirlies? I feel like I remember you saying this. When you were describing it, I remember there being
Yeah.
swirlies. The airplane. Yes, was green.
All right.
Green is okay.
So the green plane, Milo is going to try and make some assumptions about
Okay.
everything. So the white plane, or the white door, seems like that would be the exit,
Right.
as you guys have come to find out. And looking at the blue door, he kind of inspects a little bit around the door, and he points towards the bottom of where the door is. And once he points it out, you can see markings that look like things have been thrown out of this room.
Oh.
And he's like, "All right, so probably not this one either. So white door, no.
Colin, I thought you looked at the doors.
Purple.
I didn't see anything.
It's all right. It takes a very keen drow eye."
Yes. Right. Why
It's very dark in
why
here.
would I insist you on this nonsense?
You said that was the blue one. Right?
Yes, that was the blue one.
Probably not the blue one. Alrighty then.
I got a 12. I'm gonna do the 2 doors on the bottom.
Okay. So looking at the 2 doors down at the bottom, it looks like one of them has a shinier handle than the other doors, and that is the yellow door. And the gray door itself just looks incredibly mundane.
This door is lame, and this door is
The
shiny.
penitent man kneels.
I like the shiny one.
Wait,
The cup of a carpenter.
so let me tell you a story of one of my professors, Dr. Jones, and his quest to find an enchanted grail.
I'm gonna go pull the yellow one.
Okay. So yeah, you open up,
God,
or you pull the yellow thread, and you see a hallway stretching in front of you.
Yeah. Well, shit.
Oh, I missed that. What did it say?
pulled the
So
yellow
the yellow thread was pulled, the yellow door opens, and you can see just a hallway stretching forward that looks like it takes a hard right at the end of it.
Okay.
I imagine the door isn't the danger, but the hallway.
Yeah, it's a trial inside.
Right.
I send one of my dancing lights inside that door to see what we can see.
You
that's
can all
that.
make perception checks if you would like.
For posterity, I'll pull another thread to see if a door opens.
Okay,
I'll
which thread?
say the green thread.
Okay. Yeah. The
17.
green thread, the green door opens up, and you see a hallway also stretching down that one.
Did the white door close?
White door has closed at this point. It seems like the
Okay.
doors seem
One
to
door's-
they seem to close after a timer, or at least the white one did.
Okay.
I'm going to try to take a bolt and like pull the yellow thread and like bolt it down so that it's being pulled so there's no timer on it.
Okay.
I don't know how it works.
Yeah. Make a sleight of hand check.
Ooh, smarts.
Thanks. We've done this before. The whole door open with
We're
bolts.
adventurers.
Oh God.
Apparently not.
That's a 5.
So there's no real, like, looking at this thread and thinking about what you want to do, there doesn't seem to be a way that you can do this without completely destroying the thread itself. And you're kind of worried that if you destroyed the thread, if the yellow door was the right door, that you might not, that once you leave, if it returned, you might not be able to get back.
Okay. Someone go look inside and see if there's like a handle on the inside that we can get out with.
I'll do anything once.
Viper
I
standing
feel you.
right behind him,
Uh,
like ready to just grab him and pull him in if she has to.
Yeah, so you go into this hallway, and at that point you hear and
Grab
make
him.
a dexterity save as a panel along the back wall slides down to reveal 3 holes that just shoot bolts directly towards you.
Okay, not bad. So basically, so long as just standing there, the bolts open up, and he has a finger up like, and I rolled a 17, but could we make it that Viper like just grabs him and pulls him out of the way?
Viper, make a dexterity save as well.
I'm good at those. Let's see. 15.
All right. So yeah, you manage to just pull him back, and you see these 3 bolts just shoot into the wall on the other side of the room, and they stay there. And you see the panel where the bolts had just steadily rise back up and put itself into place.
Thanks.
Okay, not that door. Next one.
All right, so
I
yellow
pulled the
bolts.
gray one.
Okay.
I'm just gonna stand by them and pull them.
Yeah. So the gray door opens, and looking into it, it just looks like the color just gets steadily drained as the hallway goes on until it almost goes from a standard color to more of a black and white.
I can live without color.
I'm gonna go. You need to tie a rope around your waist in case you die.
To prevent me from dying, or if I die, you can retrieve my body to loot it?
Both. I know what you have. It's not that good, okay?
Try anything once. Ties a rope around his waist.
Okay. Yeah, so...
I'm not holding the other end, by the way. Somebody needs to hold the other end. Just to clarify.
Can I be the one to go?
Yeah, you can.
I'm really tough and also very fast and not very strong. So if I have to pull anybody, it's just not good.
But I have the rope on already, Mom. Mom.
Good. Keep that on. I'll take the other end.
Oh, okay.
All right. So who's going down the hall?
It'd be Viper.
Okay. So Viper.
I will once again hug Sulong.
It worked really good the first time.
I hope the first time.
We've got to talk about you being so handsy all the time.
Yeah.
Personal space.
Viper will have her shield out and just kind of like walk.
Yeah. And
very cautiously down the hallway.
And as you do, it's weird because again, like it feels like the color is just kind of draining out of this hall. And as you walk down it, shield up, you reach the bend where it goes to the left. And as you go around that bend, it's
Cut the pie.
just a wall.
Oh.
It doesn't progress down further past that point. But I would like for you to make a wisdom save.
Oh, good.
Those are the saves I'm actually good at.
Why?
Oh no!
Natural one.
I told
Okay.
you the rope.
No.
All right.
I'm
So,
kind of a jackass, but at least I'm smart.
Why do I do this?
yeah.
Okay.
So nothing really seems to change at all from where you are, and you turn around in the hallway, and you feel this sensation wash over you, and then just kind of dissipate, and you're not exactly sure what it is. But as you walk down the hallway towards your friends, you realize that the way that the hallway was, where you looking into it, that the color steadily drained out, that the color isn't coming back. And as you get back to the main area, you're colorblind.
Ah!
Oh no!
And that is where we're going to call it for tonight.
That's not. Well,
Viper, how many fingers am I holding up? Oh wait, you're colorblind.
So, yeah, I thought that this would be a little bit of a longer adventure, but I also didn't exactly count on having technical issues that ate up a large chunk of the beginning, but we worked through that. So the next time that we revisit these characters, if everyone is still down to play, then we shall finish the Temple of the Magic Spider and see what the rest of the layers of the spider actually go to. So, thank you all for stopping by. Once again, I am the indoor adventurer of Simple and Keen. You can find me on Twitter at Simple and Keen. You can find me on YouTube at Simple and Keen. And you can find me here on Twitch as the indoor adventurer. So to my right, Wings, where can people find you at?
DanaeKeener.com.
All
Where
right.
evidently I will not be doing art.
All right. And what about you, LB? Where can people find you?
Twitter at RDZIADZIO.
All right.
And here.
Awesome. Sounds good. And what about you, Justin?
You can find me at Twitter at RJustice282, or here on Twitch at RJustice282 as well.
All right. Awesome. And what about you, PB? Where can people find you?
People can find me at PBPlaysInside on everything, and over on DriveThruRPG, also PBPlaysInside, and you can go and download my new 5e supplement for the Pride Festival in honor of Pride Month.
I'm going to do it
Ooh.
right after this. All right.
Yeah.
That looks like that is going to be all that we have time for today. Thank you to everybody who stopped by and suffered with us through our technical issues and also enjoyed coming up to this break. So until next time, we will see you guys. Bye.
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 Bye.